watching. That's not good. We're doing an interview. Let's not be rude.
Gosh.
Downing a bunch of water.
Oh gosh. Well, welcome to Love on the Pod, a podcast about all the cheesy romantic TV movies we adore. I'm Jessica,
And I'm Sherri.
and today we have the pleasure of chatting with actor Clayton James. He's a familiar face in the world of feel-good TV. You've seen him light up the screen in Hallmark favorites and made-for-TV favorites like As Gouda as It Gets and Don't Forget I Love You, as well as in When Calls the Heart, and even as Kevin Federline in Britney Ever After. From romantic leads to real-life roles, Clayton brings charm and heart to every project. And we are excited to chat with him today.
Super excited. Yes.
Yeah. Hello.
Good morning.
Can't hear anything yet.
Can't hear us? Okay.
Oh, no, man, hold on. Honestly live under a rock when it comes to technology. And I'm like, I'm last minute, I'm like, okay, click on the link. And it's like, download this. And I'm like, oh, shit. At once. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Thank you. Yeah. And then I got to do the sweep in the background. Like, that keeps the dogs from eating my records. And that's just a donation bag. And then there's,
We all live real lives. It's totally fine.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever the anxiety kicks in, I'm like,
We're just as anxious as you, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Are you y'all from Chicago?
No, I'm in Texas.
Okay.
And I'm in Washington.
Oh, very nice. Washington State?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whereabouts?
Gig Harbor.
Oh,
Town.
I bought my boat from Gig Harbor, actually.
Did you really?
Yeah, it's a beautiful spot. I've never actually had the chance to go down there, but
Oh, it's a great town. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it here.
I'm just going to try and turn up the volume a little bit. Is there an option on the screen here?
I believe that I'm trying to look at my screen. I think you have to do it through your
Yeah, the computer. I just maxed it out. But I'm going to close the door here.
Okay.
We got construction going on across the street, so
Oh, always.
a little bit more chaotic.
Where are you at?
Vancouver, up in
Okay.
just in Canada, not too
Okay.
far north.
Nope, not too far from Washington. We go
Nope.
over the border all the time. My husband's from Canada, so
Very nice.
yes. Okay, well, thanks for hopping on with us this morning. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So we always like to start our interviews with a little chat about kind of how you got into the business. So how you became an actor, what that looked like for you. So can you share that with us?
Yeah, basically I had just finished working at a bike shop when I was sort of around 18, 19, and kind of just trying to figure out what I was doing with my life. Quiet, please. Sorry, I got a very needy dog. And then a friend of mine, her friend was a friend of a family. She basically had a friend who was an agent, and his name was John Davies. And then she was like, "Oh, have you ever thought about doing commercials?" And I was like, not really at all. I think I went in for one quick commercial audition when I worked at the bike shop just because they wanted a mountain biker. And it was the most nerve-wracking thing. And I had no idea what I was doing. I'm pretty sure I did like a 360. And they're like, "Why are you staring at the wall?" And I'm like, "I don't know what to do here anymore. What do I do with my hands?" Well, Ricky Bobby, right? Like, his hands just going up. And needless to say, I decided to try that. And then I took a commercial workshop and kind of started liking it. But my first commercial audition was the exact same thing. They're like, "Okay, can you read these lines?" And I was beyond nervous, like sweating bullets profusely. And I was like, "Yeah, this is like, okay, sir, can you speak up a little bit?" And I was like, "This is a really great." I literally was doing the full Ricky Bobby, like, you control the volume, anything. And I left going, "What the hell am I thinking?" And then I continued to take the commercial workshop, and one day Andrew McElroy, who's a coach up here in Vancouver, a very reputable coach, just burst through the door, very vibrant, very vivacious, and was like, "Where's the cookies?" And I'm like, "Who's that guy?" And they're like, "Oh, that's Andrew. He coaches like acting classes." And I'm like, "Well, like acting?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna take one of his classes." And so it kind of just became one of those things. Like the more I got knocked down, the more I kind of just fought back against it, and wasn't really sure if I wanted to do it as like an artistic side, or if it was like, oh, fame and fortune, that silly kind of chase. until you realize that it's definitely a lot harder of a journey to achieve the latter part of the fame and fortune. So,
Right.
yeah. And then growing up, I played a lot of sports, and I was a very emotionally kind of driven child. Only child raised by a single mom, and I found it a very safe space to sort of exercise all those emotions that in school I couldn't really kind of navigate. Um, and Andrew kept challenging me and challenging me and bringing me back from, basically like he's like, you're very natural at what you do, but you have no idea what you're doing. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, no crap.
Yeah.
Like we know that we can figure it out. So, and then it was just, I didn't really book anything for 4 or 5 years, and I kind of just kept going to class and trying it. And then I booked a commercial in Orlando and flew me down, and we were there for 2 weeks shooting. And I was like, this is amazing. This is so fun. And then booked my first movie with Christy, and that was for Infidelity and Rachel Hunter. And kind of just from there kept, pursuing it and moving forward with it. And, we have a really lovely hub here in Vancouver. It's struggled. The industry struggled a little bit lately, but a lot of great support systems, a lot of fantastic coaches, and a lot of great coworkers up here. And yeah, so that's kind of how I got into it.
Cool. What was your first commercial for?
It was for a beer. It was for a I can't remember, some light a light beer, and we were basically riding jet skis and having parties and all that kind of stuff. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, I ended up meeting a lot of great people from different parts of the U.S., and a couple people from up here in Vancouver flew down, and um, it was a lot of fun. It was a little nerve wracking at first, but I find commercials aren't necessarily just as focused on you. It's more so about product placement. So it's like really learning, like tilt the can, turn the can, tilt the can, turn the can. Okay, this way, this way, this way. And then with acting, it's a little bit more, your journey, and a little bit more focused on your take on a character and what you want to bring to it. So it was a bit of a nice intro to get in front of the camera that way.
Awesome. That's really cool.
Is there a role that you really wanted and you didn't book and it still kind of sticks with you today?
Oh, there's tons. There's projects that I've read for, and I was like, I would love this. I mean, anything period piece I really enjoy. Luckily, I got to work on The Terror, and that was a World War II period piece, and the sets for that were just absolutely amazing, like almost built to life, and that was a lot of fun. A few roles that I booked, that I shot in the CW universe, I thought were going to be a bit more of a trajectory and a bit more, longevity. And so I got really excited about those. There's a few roles where it was either recurring was turning into maybe something more long term, and you get, when you start feeling stability or um, just like a part of an ensemble that you're going to be able to build this journey with, you get really excited as an actor. It's kind of like, that extra break or your big break, etc. And those things kind of fizzled out. And so that was quite disappointing. And a few of them I look back, I really wish I had been able to, partake in. And actually, in one instance, I won't name the show, but they hired me, and then it was supposed to be like a 5 episode arc of a vigilante character. And I shot the episode, and they established my face and the connection and everything. And then out of nowhere, they got me to read again for the same character. And then they ended up hiring a friend of a friend in Los Angeles, so he got to play that vigilante role. And I was just like, what? And you really start to realize that there's so many things that just aren't about you in this business, and things just happen that way, and people lose out on pilots, people lose out on, recurrings, or they get killed off and sooner than rather than they thought. So that can kind of be a bit detrimental, but you just do your best to kind of go, okay, well, that's just what it is, and it's a business, and you move forward.
How
What
do
a
you?
shock it,
Oh,
I was just gonna say, what a shock it must be to get handed a script and everything's going along really well, and then all of a sudden you read, "What do you mean I die?"
That was that was Superman and Lois, but my little gut kind of felt, I was like, okay, how far am I going in this? And I was very excited to be a part of that. And
Yeah.
regardless, it was a new show, and we got to do green screen work, and the end product for me was a lot of fun CGI. But I remember reading it, and I was very excited, but I was also very cautious. And as soon as I got to that part, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
But at least, it's almost like when you watch the Game of Thrones, and the characters are doing a table read, and they don't really know what's happening. They haven't seen the script yet. And then all of a sudden you see a character and they're all like crying and they're losing a part of that castmate, their family member, which they built this journey with. So yes, it's not necessarily real life that the character's gone, but a lot of actors feel like they've lost a part of themselves at that point in time because you've spent 5 or 6 years, or you've made this journey and nobody really ever wants it to end, but you also support the storyline, and you just know that that kind of has to happen for a lot of characters.
Right. It's not
Yeah.
personal.
Yeah. When you do lose out on a role that you really wanted, or something doesn't go the way that you had hoped it would, how do you keep yourself from internalizing that and continue to move forward?
I do what I did when I was 5 and didn't get a GI Joe. I throw myself down on the floor. I said, "Mom, why?"
It works. It works.
Oh, she's like, "Oh, great." And I'm like, she's like, "We're in the department store. You can get the toy. You're 40 years old. Stop by yourself." It's really hard for me. I take a lot of things maybe a bit more personal, but I think actors do. And I ran into a castmate of mine who's been one of my mentors for a long time, and she's a fantastic coach here in the city. And we both are in Deep Cove here in North Vancouver, so it's a small community. But we just had a long talk, and she's just like, you really got to realize it's not about you. But with the self tapes and with the saturation of the business and the lack of content and everything like that, it's so hard for actors right now to work. And I think that you kind of just pick yourself up off the floor and it hurts and it stings for a while. And then you hopefully just move on to either another project or even a fun self tape. I had to play a washed up boy band member. And, for the last little while, I've been going through some life stuff and personal, which kind of plays into your frustrations with everything. But
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. So, like, just dressed the part and wore a silly outfit and put on a silly accent. And I was like, just finding the fun of it again, because again, the business side takes away from it so much of the creative, because you're really placing your value on acceptance. And for a lot of us, it wears on you. It's really tough. And you think that it's personal, but then you speak with other people and they're struggling. And even A-list actors, I mean, I've heard stories of people just not working for 3 or 4 years. And it's tough because the artist in you wants to create and you want to collab. And especially with self tapes now, you don't have this camaraderie that we have right now. We're not watching each other's body language and speaking. A self tape is basically you come up with what you feel is going to be the role and you throw it into the ether, and you maybe 2% of the time might get a feedback and being like, why don't you try it like this? As opposed to going in the room for auditions. And a lot of actors that built their careers in Vancouver by going in the room and having a personal camaraderie with a casting director, director, producer, aren't working right now because it's just a different beast. And so producers and directors I talked to are really struggling with it as well. But a lot of people wanted to wake up and do auditions in their pajamas, and people didn't want to have to drive downtown and find parking. And, so there's that sort of sliding scale of there's the pros and cons to it. But I really wish we did in-room auditions again. And I really wish, it wasn't like commercial fishing where you're throwing the net out and dragging it as much as possible. You're more selective with the people that you choose, or you give people a bit more of a shot and opportunity, and then are able to kind of collab with them and work with them and say, hey, I like that choice, or, this is what I was thinking. Because sometimes if you don't have backstory, you can't really build a character. It's quite tough. So
Yeah. Yeah, we have a few family friends who are actors, and they say the exact same thing. They wish they could be in the room. It makes such a difference to get that live feedback and
for
to
sure.
understand if the people creating the project have a backstory in mind, like you want to know what that is, right? So
For
you're
sure.
not just kind of flailing around trying to figure it out on your own. So
No, and you can make all those different choices. Authentic distance is a big thing for me too. I mean, if I have a scene with somebody I'm romantically involved with, and it's my buddy who's, chewing half a sandwich and trying to read lines, and we're 7 feet apart, it's hard to make it organic at times. And I do find that on set as well. I make different choices, and all of us actors do, with sets and with things around us and prompts, and it brings more true to life than kind of just standing there and doing the audition process. But unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast.
yeah. So you've played a wide range of roles. Is there anything that you do specifically to get in tune with your character?
I mean, with the Christmas movies and stuff like that, I try to smile a lot, and just exercise the smiling muscles because after 16 hours of Christmas, it sometimes hurts, but I love those strips. They're so fun. And, there's actually a lot more technicalities with like insert shots of Christmas trees and presents and cups of cocoa and the big masters of snowfall, as opposed to saying doing a thriller where it's more of the close-ups is going to give you the jump scares and a bit more of the journey of the character, what you're telling with your eyes or your facial expressions. um, and I think that when you get into like a sociopathic role, I mentioned this to a friend the other day. It's like when Billy Bob Thornton, everybody's talking about all his roles, he's like, I kind of just bring a piece of myself. So you kind of tap into some of that, I think, dark side that we all have, that we just can access, and it's a safe spot for it. And then you just bring a part of yourself. And so I find a lot of more in the moment, or on a day discoveries, especially with props and everything like that. For that, yeah, I mean, prep would it really depends on the character. I mean, if I'm just sort of playing Brad from accounting who goes back home to a small town and rescues a cookie shop, I mean, we're just kind of bringing myself to that, and the lightness or the comedy that I carry day to day. But again, if I'm playing a sociopath, well, that's going to be a little bit more of a journey, and maybe find some discoveries that I was like, oh shit, I can out. Come from my therapist. I'm like, hey, listen, I had a bit of a discovery.
Yeah, I need
Let's
some.
talk about this.
Do you have a preference in playing rom-com, drama, thriller?
All time, like if I had to just pick one, would be comedy for sure. On So Help Me Todd, we were allowed to improv a lot, and honestly, I just sometimes I say things in real life and on set where I just say it, and I'm like, oh, that was either offside or really funny. So that is kind of the no filter and the quick wit side that I really enjoy. But realistically, dark, gritty, Peaky Blinders or period pieces would be something that I would really be into, because then you're taking the journey almost like doing theater, that you're building this character and you're traveling back into time, and either a dialect choice or a certain hairstyle, um, even the clothes that we wear kind of bring everything else to life as well. So that would be much more my style. But being able to play sort of the different varieties that I've been able to has been quite nice as well. So
Yeah.
that's not my stomach, by the way. That's just my dog.
I figured. We both have needy dogs too, so we understand.
And I have a cat reaching under the door right now, trying
Yeah.
to get.
Hello, pay attention to me.
Yes. So the turnaround time on most made-for-TV movies we know is very fast. So how do you get yourself into character and also memorize these lines in that rapid pace? Is there anything that you do specifically that would be different from a project where you have a little more prep time?
I mean, I do cram a lot. And the night before, they used to make MOWs in 18 days. And then someone came along and said I could do it in 16. Someone else came along and said I could do it in 14. And then someone came and said I could do it in 12 or 13. And so
Wow.
I think it was Peter DeLuise who said, be careful what you succeed at. Or he referenced that. And it was one of those things where, yeah, it's a fast moving beast, and you don't get a lot of time to kind of mess around, and you kind of got to know your lines. And so, yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, maybe if you want to redo it, the director has some time. Like, yeah, you want to just try something. But really, I find learning lines is quite an exercise in your muscle memory for your brain. And once you're sort of in that realm, it helps. I need to talk things out with people. So I have an app called Line Learner because I need to hear it out loud. I'm not the best at studying any sort of context unless I'm really involved in it. So that helps a lot too. But again, like you just have a binder, I mean, iPad now because we've moved forward to the paperless office. But yeah, and then just like going over it, reading the script 5 or 6 times, just getting it into your body as much as possible. And everybody has their process that's different. I know actors in A-list who black out all of their co-actors' lines. Some people don't read the script. Some people like to discover in the moment. But I've also known friends. I've known friends that's bitten in the butt. Like, oh, I'll just figure it out on the day. And they're like, well, you have a 6-page monologue, and they're like,
oh, I do.
yeah, Godspeed on that one. You might as well get a teleprompter because that's going to be tough.
Yeah. Yeah. For
Is it
sure.
hard to develop a chemistry with your co-star on such a small time frame?
This is not a self brag. Like, I'm a really friendly person and I really enjoy what I do. I'm very, very happy on set. The only time that I've ever ran into some issues was that me and my co-star did not see eye to eye. And it's very rare that I've met somebody on set that I don't, get along with. I've had some very higher up seasoned actors be extremely rude to me. And I was just like, oh, okay, that's just your issue, not really mine. But it's hard when you come in as a day player sometimes and this person's carrying a TV show and you're trying to just, be friendly and engage with them and they're just not. Um, but you kind of shrug it off. Generally, on film for the MOWs, I've either worked with people before, or if I haven't, then we go, have dinner or something like that. Try to collaborate with each other and always make each other available for running lines and just chatting about life and stuff like that on set. So there's a lot of downtime when they're doing setups and time to be able to talk to people and kind of get to know each other a bit more. But it does go by so fast, and sometimes in the blink of an eye, it's over. But yeah, generally, I don't really force any of that stuff. Like I said, I mean, I just kind of, if somebody's not really wanting to partake in the offset talk, or they want their own green room and they want to just be by themselves, so be it. As long as they're bringing it on camera and on the screen, we have that chemistry. So yeah.
Do you watch your own movies? I know a lot of actors don't like to see themselves on screen.
The reason, I mean, I do and I don't. My mom, when I first started out, she was extremely excited to watch all the projects. I think it turns into a bit more of an aesthetics thing or choices. And so I will watch myself on certain things. And I try to just, doing it for so long, you go, okay, just put all that aside. Um, because you just start picking things apart, which it's human nature to do, even in photos or, whatever. We decide to kind of go, overanalyze. But if it's a project I really am excited about, like Superman and Lois, I was really excited to see the final product with the CGI and lasers shooting out of my eyes and things exploding. And I was like, oh, I gotta watch that. And then watching myself in So Help Me Todd, I don't know. I love that character. He was just like, fun and easygoing, and I really enjoyed watching those episodes as well. But self tapes are a hard thing for me to watch. I got friends that will stop and analyze it and watch the first, second take, and I know I'm supposed to do that to get a little bit more technical, but it's hard at times. So
Yeah.
50-50, I'd say that's the question.
Okay, so we just reviewed the movie As Gouda as It Gets. We just recorded.
A quiche niche. A quiche. My little nephew says that to me all the time. He's like, Uncle Chitty, a quiche niche. And I'm like, oh.
So we've watched it multiple times. We talked about it this morning, and so we'd love to get into that. But I have a few rapid fire questions for you.
Sure. Yeah.
What's your favorite cheese?
I would have to say, blue cheese.
Okay, good choice.
Hey, what set has had the best craft services table?
I mean, they're all pretty good. So Help Me Todd had literally the entire Costco section in their trailer. Like, I would walk up, like, you guys had everything I've ever seen at Costco that's going to be a snack, and they're like, yeah, we nailed it. I would say those guys are pretty good, but a lot of craft services are pretty on point with their catering. Stop.
What kind of dog is this?
She's an American bully, and her sister is probably got a treat that she wants, so she's just kind of.
Oh my gosh, she's
that's
so
Frankie.
cute.
And then her sister Pearl. They're rescues from Barstow, California. So had them for a bit, but they're just she's very needy.
Yeah, they're so cute. If you were going to run a cheese shop for real, what would it be called?
That's a great question. I'll just go with the traditional Cheeto thing. It ain't easy being cheesy.
Oh, there you go. Good one.
That's a good one.
High-end cheese shop.
Name a movie you've seen too many times.
Tropic Thunder.
Oh,
Oh,
I've
okay.
seen that movie. My buddy and I survived work together, quoting that movie for 2 years. So it's just sort of a fan favorite.
Oh yeah. Yep. It's so funny. All right, last one. What's the most romantic moment that you filmed?
Um, I gotta be careful what I say. Um, in truth, there's definitely been, true connection and true passionate kisses where
Uh-huh.
you're like, wow, okay, there's a lot going on here.
Hmm.
It's not false. I really, don't, out of respect for some certain things, I don't really want to name a specific person or movie, but um, yeah, there's been some very fiery energetic passion on a set that I was very taken aback by, and
Mhm.
yeah, so
Okay.
I gotta
That's a
try to
perfectly
Totally
fine
get that.
answer. That's a perfectly fine answer. Okay, so when it comes to as good as it gets, what was the audition process like for that movie? Do you recall?
Yeah, I mean, they were very kind and they just offered me the role, which is very rare. I remember being out of work for a little bit, and we were just out on the boat, and kind of just I was in my funk going like, am I ever gonna work again? Is this gonna happen? And again, first world problems being out of the boat. Um, and then I got the phone call, and they said, hey, this production company really wants to offer you the role for this character. It's in Montreal. And I'm like, let's go. But didn't even hear the rest of it. I love Montreal. It's a beautiful city, and I'm always really excited to work. And I've heard great things about the production company. And so, they were really keen on that. And then they had mentioned it was with Kim, and Kim and I just done the Christmas movie a few months prior, which is very rare that you'll do a back to back full different production movie with somebody that you've already worked with.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, well, we know each other, so we'll be able to kind of collab on that.
Mhm. What did you think about the script when you got your hands on it?
So cheesy.
Yeah.
Um, you got it. I mean, it was fun. It's a fun script, and I've never really kind of seen it like I've seen cheesy movies, but a movie about cheese, I was kind of like,
Mhm.
okay,
Yeah.
this is gonna be fun. But Montreal, that city is very about their cheese, and I was, I don't know, I enjoyed the character. It was it wasn't too far of a stretch. It was a
Mhm.
getting on myself, right? Charismatic, guy who's passionate about what he does and reviews the cheese, and I mean, it just seemed like a very fun, warm, heartfelt script, and so I was excited to kind of just go portray that character, and again, like Montreal, I just am very drawn to that city, so I was very excited, and I felt like it was very fitting for the script as well, just with a beautiful backdrop, more of a European sort of style with a lot of land and a lot of beautiful farms. And
Did you film it like in a small downtown area?
it was during COVID actually, which was that actually made it really tough.
Uh-huh.
Because Kim and I couldn't even go to each other's like condos or apartments to like run lines or anything like that. Like the security guard basically was like, you guys can hang out with each other down here, but they were very, very strict during COVID. So that like proved a lot of challenges, not only for offset, but on set as well. But we went to beautiful rural areas of Montreal, and then some of the scenes were filmed more downtown. But we traveled a lot outside the city.
Mhm. Okay.
And your character is a former chef. Do you cook yourself? And if so, what's your go-to meal?
Honestly, my go-to meal is always going to be a staple of ribeye, and going to be some sourdough bread with oil and vin, and like a nice fingerling potato, and then probably a homemade Caesar dressing salad, and then a nice bottle of like cab or something to pair along with it. That's would be my last meal if that could be. So meat and potatoes kind of guy. I mean, I've handmade yam gnocchi and stuff like that before. My friend's been a cook and a chef for over 25 years. He's taught me a lot. But recently back into the single life, and so I haven't really been cooking lately. It's been, bachelor kind of easygoing meals, but I do love cooking. I think it's another creative way of connecting with somebody or connecting even just with food. And plating to me is a big thing. I realize that presentation. So I think my buddy looked over when we lived together a long time ago. He's like, "You can't even cook grilled cheese, you burn everything." I'm like, well, that's how I was raised. So, and then now he's like, you see me wipe the plates and get them like basil drizzle and doing all the correcting and then like taking a torch to some things. He's like, "What happened to you?" I found a passion for it like you did.
Fancy.
So,
Yeah.
not as much right now, but I definitely enjoy cooking for sure.
Yeah.
Do you make your own sourdough? You mentioned sourdough.
I've never done it. I got some sourdough starter kits from friends of mine, but I've sort of been a little timid to do it. Um, but my partner now, she makes her own bread and sourdough, and so she's kind of teaching me a thing about cooking the bread.
Yeah.
She really wanted like a Dutch oven sort of big pot to cook various things in, so I got it for her, and she's been making some fantastic stuff. So also being with somebody who loves to cook and enjoys that. We collaborate a few meals together here and then.
Mhm.
So I'm finding the passion again and the creativity of
that's
it.
great.
But I have never made my own bread. It's funny because I listened to a podcast about North American bread versus European and talking about people with gluten allergies and how just how bread became so refined and all the nutrients taken out of it here, whereas people can go to Europe and eat bread and not have any reaction. And then showing you like this is what white bread is in America, and it's like a sponge with no perforation and no holes.
There's
Just
no
like,
bread.
you know, just whatever
Yeah.
space food versus a fresh made sourdough that's got the holes in it, and it just I every time I walk by a bakery and they have fresh sourdough, I will just go in to look just because it smells so good, and
It does. Yeah.
bread is a huge thing for me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why I go to farmers markets to buy bread and pastry.
Buy real bread, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not
Yep.
this like space food.
No.
Yeah. I've
No,
been
I
making it for about a year, and
Yeah.
there's such a huge difference.
Yeah.
It's so good.
That's again, that would be like has to, and I think they interviewed some of the top chefs in the world, and bread was on a majority of their kind of go to staple, yeah, as being a part of their meals.
And there's a
Yeah.
science behind it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's
Yeah.
not like an easy willy-nilly thing that you
This is
just
why probably I haven't made it yet because
Me
I'm
too.
so scared. I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to mess this up." Franken bread, nobody wants that, or do they?
Maybe. You never know.
Yeah,
You may be onto something.
exactly.
So this movie has obviously really foodie vibes because it's about a chef or former chef who's turned into a food critic, and then we've got a cheesemonger. Did you do any cheese tasting or food prep training for the role?
No, they did discuss with me sort of my backstory of cooking, and so I had sort of just given them exactly what I gave you guys. And but the thing I kind of felt like we were on set, and there was a lot of food and cheese that was around there, and Montreal being a big food city, in a lot of ways very European, very French. Um, I kind of felt that I wanted to try a bit more, cheese and try and branch out to some different varieties. And the thing about being there during COVID, like all the restaurants were closed. And so I was luckily across from a market, and I went down there and grabbed a bunch of different cheeses. And what was I making? I made like roasted sage with butternut squash soup and cheese, and like just tried to branch out a bit while I was there. Um, Probably brought back a bit of extra weight with me. I was crushing a lot of cheese and drinking a lot of wine and just, doing as they do over there. And, but it was good because it gave me sort of the downtime to just sit in the apartment and go over scripts and cook and either meal prep. Like I went and bought a steak, and I think I asked them to cut it 3 inches thick, and it was like 8 inches big. It was like $90. But it lasted me for a while, but I was
Yeah.
like, I was stoked because I like big cuts of meat like that. And so it was nice to have that downtime because usually when you're filming, you're home and then you're back and you don't really have a lot of that. But there were some breaks where I got to actually experience and go to the market and buy some different cheese and bread and do like small charcuterie boards at times and just enjoy it that way. So
Well, if you haven't tried this cheese, let me give you a rec.
sure.
Comté is delicious. We
So good.
tried it because it was in a Hallmark movie called Savoring Paris,
Yeah.
and it's a hard cheese, kind of a little bit like Parmesan, but not as bitey, and it's
Yeah, a little
really
buttery.
good. So if you find it in your grocery store, it's very good.
Yeah, I just wrote that down. I'll definitely have to try it out.
Yeah, that's super good.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had one more question about As Good as It Gets. We loved this movie.
Mhm.
We gave it high ratings. We loved it through and through. My only problem was at the very end, Jack,
Mhm.
your character, wants to start a fondue food truck. And I'm wondering how you think that would happen. How would that work out?
How do you keep it warm?
How do you keep your fondue warm at the end of the day?
Definitely have to have a few fire extinguishers around. I mean, the only way you could probably do it would be those burners from like catering companies when you go to like do a buffet. They have the little butane burners on the bottom.
Yeah.
Or if your food truck was, at a location where you could have like hot plates, or you could have they have those camping stoves as well that
Mhm.
you can put the butane on. That would probably be the only way you could do like a take to like sit outside and eat.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sure at some point in time, if it's not been done, somebody's going to try and
Yes.
try that.
For
But
sure.
it definitely would be a challenge to kind of keep it that way, because as soon as you step off with the cheese that's not heated, becomes hard again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, speaking of fondue, I have not had a fondue dinner in a long time, or had that. So now I'm thinking about it.
I know.
I mean, Jack, that guy wanted to think outside the box. So again,
Yeah.
maybe he was inspired, and maybe that was the way he was going to go about it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so we wanted to touch a little bit on your time in Hope Valley, if that's cool with you.
For sure. Yeah.
So you popped up as a blacksmith
Mhm.
on One Calls the Heart. So can you tell us about what that experience was like?
Yeah, I mean, I was really excited. Apparently, I guess the previous blacksmith just couldn't do the show anymore, and
Mhm.
I went in for the role. And at first, it was just sort of a smaller kind of principal role, so I was a part of the town, and it was really nice to walk into the camaraderie. I mean, Hope Valley, Chris wasn't there yet, but I've known Chris McNally for a really long time. He's such a fantastic guy, and he deserves all of the accolades that he's been getting. He worked so hard to get there. And then when Lori was there and everybody, it was just nice to walk in, and be a part of that ensemble as a family. I actually had built. So I worked behind the camera for 10 years doing spray foam. We built movie sets,
Okay.
and when they released the movie initially, the Hallmark movie for that, we had built the mine. So it was the entryway to the mine. We built all the rocks and
Mm.
over the railway and stuff like that. So I was walking out there and I was like, this is pretty cool. Like, never seen the Jamestown set before. And, fast forward later that I'm working on it, I was like, oh, I built that. Like, so we don't care. But I was like,
That's awesome.
yeah. So there was a few things that I ended up doing behind the camera stuff, and then ended up booking a role on the project as well, which is a lot of fun. But yeah, the journey with the blacksmith. I mean, towards the end with Kayla's character, I was getting really excited because I felt, and there was discussion of me sticking around and being more involved.
Mhm.
And again, that was one of those moments that just didn't pan out, and it was hard for me to kind of accept, because that was during that time of the vigilante, and so it was like two things. And again, I was trying so hard not to take it personally, but I was like, oh, how come both these things just fizzled out? And it was just, the directors on there were fantastic. I had known the costumes gal for a long time. She was actually, her family went to my mom's dentist office for a long time, so there was camaraderie there. And it was a really nice family amongst everybody, and such a fun set to be a part of.
Mhm.
Um, that Yeah, it was a little bit of heartbreak, but I also just kind of was like, it is what it is for the storyline to carry on. But again, period piece was really exciting, and seeing, different things like the old school cars that were there, and a lot of horseback. Kevin McGarry is a fantastic human as well. We became friends on there. Aaron Buckles, he came and lived with us in LA for a little while, so him and I became buddies. So kept a lot of good friendships from that show, and
Great.
yeah, I wish I was more a part
So
of
you,
it.
you would go back if they asked you?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. It's such a heartfelt show. I don't like saying fans, but the viewers who are really a part of that, they've invested a lot of time in the seasons that they've been a part of, and um, Yeah, it's a very heartfelt show, and I think it's the reason why it's had such longevity is because of the cast and because of the storylines, and people connect to it. So, yeah, I think it's and again, like everybody on that show is just the nicest humans.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm a late blooming Hardy. I just started watching the show about a year ago because Jessica, my daughter, and my other daughter, Danielle, who's normally on the podcast
Yeah,
on maternity leave, they recommended that I watch it. And I thought, oh, I don't know if I want to take on another show. I'm already
yeah,
behind so many seasons. And I went through every single episode, every single season. I don't know, what was it, about 2 or 3 months? I just watched it and watched it and
Yeah.
watched it. And because it's so good and so
yeah,
heartfelt, and the fans are intense about their love of When Calls the Heart.
yeah.
So have you had any kind of fan response from your role?
Yeah, I mean, I've actually made a few friends from it, just like pen pals or social media pals from that show, and a lot of during that time, a lot of just nice messages that are like, we really love Kevin's character, and it's nice to see you on the show, and we wish you all the best. And so yeah, it was just a lot of very positive messages, and again, like seeing Chris, because again I've known Chris for a long time, of his journey on that show, and being able to bring life to such a great character and be a part of the main ensemble, and Aaron as well, and everybody else involved. So
Mhm.
um, yeah, a lot of positive response and a lot more engagement, I guess, as well from previous productions that I've worked on. I mean, again, the Hardys are a big fan base, and they're all such amazing, lovely people, and just a lot of fun sort of questions, or like, where do you think this is gonna happen? What do you think's gonna happen with this? And I'm like, I have no idea.
Dude, I can't tell you.
Well, like, just go back. I just disappeared. Kevin
Yeah.
Kevin got on a horse and just left.
Yeah.
You're not the only one. That happens with characters all the time. They're just,
Oh, I know.
where'd they go?
I talked to Aaron about it too, because I hadn't seen Aaron for a while. And his character they had made a different journey. And again, you got to kind of have that, because the town is a small town. You're gonna have to have so many different things happening. But I know Viv's on that. I don't know if he's still on it now, but like, just, and I think it was a rite of passage in Vancouver, to either have like an actor role, principal role, guest star, small recurring or recurring, because it's one of the shows that has shot the longest in Vancouver. Same thing with Supernatural. There's a few shows that have been around for so long that every actor is going to walk through those doors, hopefully at some point, and it's kind of just a rite of passage in Vancouver. And thankful for them, they provided a lot of people with a lot of work, and very grateful to Hallmark and everybody on set for giving us those opportunities.
Yeah, that's like Law and Order has been on for so long that people are making their second trip around and playing
Yeah.
totally different.
I know my friend was like, I've been on Supernatural 3 times, and 3 different characters. He's like, for a while, it's like, Vancouver's pool is not as big as LA. So it's like, whatever, bring that guy back. We'll just make him a vampire this time.
Yeah, nobody will notice.
Okay.
So the last flick we wanted to touch on was the Britney Spears biopic where you played Kevin Federline.
Sorry, the connection's breaking up. That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
Okay, I watched
get that all the
this movie
time.
in preparation for this interview. I watched this movie.
Oh, well,
Sorry. I did not.
what would you like to know?
How did you feel about playing K-Fed?
I was actually really excited. I mean, I got to throw on baggy jeans again, and like have a big gold chain, and dress basically how I dressed when that dress was, that clothing was in. And it was a lot of fun. He's got some swag to him, and he's a very charismatic guy during the time of him and Britney. And
Yeah.
it was also during the sort of the moment where what is it, the reality TV, they're filming themselves all the time, and she was one of the biggest iconic pop stars of all time, and still is. But it was tough. I got a few messages from people basically slandering me for taking the role, and why would you? There's a lot of very protective fans of Britney who felt that that should have been made. And it was a lot of fun. It's just, I mean, James Corden, and it was the most publication or the most like notoriety I've ever gotten, like for like famous talk show hosts. I mean, Wendy Williams called me Clayton Shitty on national TV. So my legal last name's Shitty, and
Oh my gosh.
change your last name. And I was like, I don't know what's happening right now. And then it
Oh
was
my
really
gosh.
unfortunate getting like just because of I think it was everybody was protecting Britney and
Right.
before it even came out. And
Yeah.
but Chrissy Teigen texted or tweeted and she's like, Clayton's the only guy who looks like this person. I was like,
Sure, it's true.
well, thanks. Yeah. And then they asked me, they're like, did you reach out to Kevin? And I'm like, yeah, I sent him a message and I just wanted to, on social media, not expecting that I'd hear back.
Mhm.
And I was, so it was fun. It was fun to kind of dress up and be a hip hop sort of artist, but then the love interest as well. And it was a whirlwind for sure. And would I do it again? Yeah, probably. It was fun. It's just still one of those things that friends of mine find out and they're like, you played Kevin Federline in a Lifetime movie? And then they watch it, they're like,
Was there anything you did to prep for the role? Did you watch videos?
yeah, I actually watched a lot of his his hip hop videos that when he was trying to be when he was a rapper and watched a lot of just backstory and try to get a bit more of his mannerisms going. Just because I wanted to try and at least give that credibility to him to portray him properly. And not that it was an extensive, method acting of having a little bit of swag and some charisma of like the hip hop sort of swagger and stuff like that. But I definitely tried to at least understand the journey a bit more and didn't really know some things about Britney and his relationship that I'd found out. So
yeah. Was there anything that you took away from that experience that you carry with you or that you use to inform your decisions?
Well, actually, one of the coolest things, it was a set experience. So we were filming in a place called West Vancouver, where my grandparents had lived for a long time, and the circus where my trailer was like, I think probably 15 or 20 feet away from where we laid my grandma to rest. We spread her ashes with her grandparents there, so that was like it kind of just felt right,
Yeah.
and that's one of the things I took away with that experience was that that was more of a personal thing. But in regards to like taking away something from it, I mean, I kept the big gold or the big earrings, the stick-on earrings that they had. So physically got that because
Stick on?
there's no stick on. I didn't pierce my ears if they wanted me to. Yeah, I don't know. It was a big fun production, and we had to choreograph some dancing. I also took away that I can't dance for the life of me. Even if someone was to say, life or death, and you have to dance, I'm just not, coordinated enough. And then just seeing the camaraderie of the the gentleman who played Justin, and then the girl who played Brittany, and just I don't know. It was fun, just portraying those iconic pop star characters and the collaboration that we did. But yeah, overall, production value I thought would be a little bit different when I watched the end of the movie. But not knocking anybody specifically. That's just saying I had different expectations, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I didn't know that there was such controversy surrounding the film, so thank you for talking about it with us.
Crazy. Like talk show hosts were just it was a lot. There was a lot of talk about it really quickly, and it wasn't the most positive, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we're running low on time here, so we're going to wrap it up with a last couple of questions, and then we'll send you on your way to your busy life. But can you tell us if there is a co-star that you would really like to work with that you haven't gotten to work with yet?
There's a lot of people in Vancouver, friends of mine who I've worked with or I've been auditioning with in the industry for a long time that I'd like to collaborate with. I mean, in regards to like an A-list person, I always say Tom Hardy. I think guy's just the beast, and he has such a wide variety of work, and I've always admired sort of his projects that he takes on and his work on in Bronson and some of his films where I'm not saying this, but Shia LaBeouf said he's a gorilla on set. He's just like he makes it his set, and I would just I'd be intimidated as all hell to be near him and around him, but I would like to watch that sort of like energy, on set, and so that would be sort of my A-list person that I'd love to work with.
Yeah, He's awesome. He has such wide range that he can do.
Yeah, I mean Taboo and Bronson and all these different films. You just see how much variety he has.
Yep, for sure.
Well, and you kind of touched on that you love to do period pieces. You kind of like the idea of tapping into your inner dark side. But is there a dream role that you have in your head that you would love to play?
If there was like an American version of Peaky Blinders, like a bootleggers back in 1800s, gritty, or Prohibition days, that kind of stuff, that is just like you're dirty all the time from the dirty streets and the soot and you're in dark alleys and there's gambling and brothels and just like a really dark, gritty kind of
Mhm.
maybe American version of Peaky would
be fun.
probably be something I'd like to really sink my teeth into and have a bit more of that character journey. Whether it's the young guy who is, hits rock bottom and then gets brought in by a crime family, or, hypothetical, something that's like a nice journey where this person either becomes this like mob boss or this dark character would be sort of my dream kind of role.
Cool.
Very cool.
So in made for TV movies, we see a lot of the same tropes over and over again that they bring us comfort and make us happy.
Yeah.
What's the most hallmarky or made for TV movie thing you do in real life?
I do a lot of things for other people that I care about, and
Yeah.
I tend to wear my heart on my sleeve, and I like making people happy, friends of mine and partners, and so it's always just kind of thoughtful, cheesy things, whether it's silly little notes or fun gifts or showing up to people and surprising them and kind of just like giving back and like making somebody's day. I try to my best to ask people how their day is, no matter who they are in my life, whether it's somebody working at the grocery store or somebody just at the coffee shop, and just engaging with them that way and trying to put positive vibes out there, and because I need them for myself. I mean, this work is a very tough self-reflective work when there's downtime, and so you kind of just got to put it back out in the universe, the positivity, and engage with people. And there's people out there who are almost taken aback sometimes, when I go to the gas station and I'm like, how's your day going? And they're like, huh? We've lost that sense of
What's your angle? Yeah.
yeah, and they're like, what do you want from me? Especially in Vancouver, we're kind of like a snooty city in a lot of ways. So some people just will walk by and not say, hey, how's your day? Like when I lived in LA, people just were more they were friendlier. I mean, it was different. Vancouver just has that snootiness, but then you get the smile from somebody or you hold the door for somebody and you kind of just put those vibes out there. And like I said, we've lost a lot of that. You go to anywhere now, it's self checkouts and you're just kind of in your own zone and people are head down and don't really have time to stop and have discussions with people.
Yeah.
Kind of keeping that positive vibe just out there.
Keep those personal connections.
I love it. I love sitting talking to people. I mean, it's probably me doing a lot of talking because I have massive ADHD. So my partner now, she's like, yeah. And she does a 9-year-old, and then him and I are just battling back and forth. And she's like, are you guys ever going to stop talking?
That's funny.
I'm like, enjoy your downtime, babe.
Yeah.
Well, our family is huge on Christmas, and we were wondering, is there a Christmas movie that you wished you would have been in?
Oh, Home Alone.
Hallmark. Oh, Home Alone.
Yes.
I would have been Kevin McAllister for sure.
Yes.
I would have just even been like a random person in bed in the background. I mean, that movie's so iconic. I still quote that movie.
Oh yeah.
But there's a lot of fantastic Hallmark movies as well. I'm always racking my brain trying to find a different angle of a Christmas movie. I was thinking like a Lifetime sort of mashup between a Hallmark and a Lifetime thriller / rom-com /
Mhm.
somebody goes home to save the bakery, but all of a sudden there's a sociopathic killer that just kills everybody. And
Christmas sleigh.
actually, that's
Yes.
you already know. You already know.
It's the writer in me.
Oh gosh. So, can you share? Is there anything that you can share about what you're working on right now? What's next for you?
I have personally, I have a very big life event coming up if all goes according to plan, but not a lot of people know about it. So I'm going to kind of keep that hush hush.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. And then just back to collaborating with friends on self tapes and auditions. The industry's been a little slow to start this year, just faced with everything sort of happening north and south in our area. So I know productions are starting to pick up here, and still getting the opportunity to put myself, my hat in the ring for auditions. So yeah, and then just again trying to get back to finding the creative side of it and the enjoyment of it, and not allow the business side to kind of swamp over the creative, and then just take choices or make choices and take risks in auditions. And if they don't like it, it's my version, and I'll find something that I vibe with again. So nothing on the horizon right now, but
Well, how can people connect with you, follow you if they want to keep up on your journey, see what you're doing next?
I'm taking some time off social media, but my Instagram is I am Clayton James, and I'm always happy to speak with somebody if they have any questions about the industry. Feel free to reach out to me in the DMs, as the kids say these days. If I don't get back to you, it's nothing personal. I might have missed it, so send me another message. And yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't really use a lot of social. Because it just gets into, oh, that person's working, oh, this person's working, oh, why am I not working? And so I just try to use that platform a bit more, just kind of to connect with people, and not kind of fall into that trap. But reach out to me, and I really appreciate anybody, and especially you as well, for reaching out to me and having this camaraderie. It's a lot of fun to talk about projects, especially when things are slow for me, because it reminds me that I'm still on this journey.
Yes.
And I'm very thankful for everybody that's been a part of it and supportive. And again, if you watch my movies and you hate them, great. If you watch my movies and you love them, great. I'm just thankful that somebody's turning on the TV and allowing me to bless their presence, whether it's positive or negative. And again, even with Kevin Federline, if you hated the movie, that's totally fine with me. So I'm just
You're the highlight in that film. I will say that.
yeah. I mean, there's some spicy scenes. That's my mom's watching it. She's just like,
fast forward a few things. My kids are running around.
I don't see that.
Well, thank you so much for spending your morning with us. This was so much fun. Yeah, of course.
Great. Thank you.
Yes. Have a great rest of your day, Clayton.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. There we go.
I was like,
Well, that was fun.
can I end him? I can't do it myself. So I had to wait for him to do it. That was great.
Yeah.
He was
It was
super
very
chatty.
engaging.
Yeah.
There was no yes, no, I don't know.
And I'm like, man, who's not hiring him? He needs to be doing more movies.
Absolutely.
What the heck, man?
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, that was wonderful. Yeah. So I think that was a good toe dip into interviewing an actor. Because I know at some point we'll get one who's not nice to us.
Yeah.
Someday that will happen.
That turns the questions around on us, and we're like,
I died when he was like, the connection's breaking up.
breaking up.
I thought he was serious at
Guys are-
first, and then I'm like, oh, this movie
know.
sucks. Okay.
Yeah, now I have to watch it just because.
Oh God, it's so bad. And he's literally in it for like 10 minutes, if that. Like he's not in it for a long time.
Okay, I'll watch it just for his part.
Yeah,
then. He's
it's
very
the
handsome.
well, most of his parts are sex scenes, so yeah,
Oh,
like there's.
okay.
I had to fast forward through a good chunk of it.
All right.
Oh,
I mean, there's a drag queen, Derek something, who is an amazing Britney Spears. They just
yes,
picked
yes.
Derek Barry. Shout out to Derek Barry. She's an amazing drag queen. Looks just like Britney Spears. They should have hired her.
Although I know that Millie Bobby Brown is campaigning hard to play Britney Spears. And
I did hear that, and I could actually see that.
yeah, she does a good American accent. I think she could probably do Louisiana just fine. Yeah, I could see that working. I think she's a great actress.
She is. She can morph into any role.
Oh yeah, for sure. So be sure to follow us on Instagram at Love on the Pod, and share your episode thoughts or ideas by emailing us at loveonthepod@gmail.com. Plus, you can text us with future movie recommendations using the link in our show notes. If you love this episode and want to hear more, please subscribe to the podcast as we drop new episodes weekly. Have a great week, rest of your week, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye bye.